What's up, y'all? This is episode Kevin Durant, the Durantula episode. That's episode 35 for you folks keeping up at home of Shoebooty Sports. I'm your host, Graham Powell, with co-host.
Oh, that's me, Brother Brown.
I was like, "Yep,
So,
that's your
yeah,
co-host." All right, we're in a good mood at the moment. We're going to skip topics a little bit and jump to the Arkansas Razorbacks. They bounced back from their uh, well, blowout loss yesterday to Ole Miss to rout Auburn in the elimination round, and now Arkansas will take on Ole Miss tomorrow. Wednesday they're going to have to beat the Rebels twice, the team that absolutely smoked them Monday night. So we'll see how that goes. But man, it's been a cool College World Series. Uh, three of the four teams left are SEC teams, and the other team that's not currently an SEC school will be soon. So that being Oklahoma. So Arkansas and Ole Miss going at it again Wednesday. Uh, Oklahoma and A&M, Texas A&M. So yeah, it's been a heck of a College World Series for Arkansas. It's been nothing but blowouts. Routing Stanford 17-2 on Saturday, and then getting absolutely crushed by Ole Miss yesterday, being
yeah,
Monday, and then bouncing back against Auburn today, final 11-1, and it was never close. So Arkansas bouncing back, but they're going to have to beat Ole Miss twice. Now, they did take 2 of 3 from them in the regular season, but that doesn't matter.
no,
Not at this point. But it's been a fun College World Series, man. Um, Gosh, how about Peyton Stovall tonight though? The
5 hits.
freshman, the freshman,
That's pretty ridiculous.
5 of 6. They kept talking about how he turned down $2 million, to come play for the Razorbacks, and you're starting to see the potential why he was offered that coming out of high school. Man, what a talent this dude is going to be. He showed out tonight. Who do you have? Arkansas or Ole Miss tomorrow and in the series?
I have Arkansas tomorrow. Uh, man, and I don't know. Man. It's gonna be tough to beat them 2 times in a row. But
Yes, it is. Do they throw? Do they throw Connor Nolan tomorrow?
no, they won't have to.
Who are they going to start then? I don't even know the rotation that well. I've not really gotten to watch them. I just know when Connor Nolan's on the mound, the other team's in trouble.
Let's see. I just seen something.
We don't have to look it up, but I
No.
just didn't know if he'd be throwing tomorrow or potentially Thursday. I assume they would turn around and play Thursday.
Yeah, it's baseball from here on out.
Yes. All right. So Arkansas, Ole Miss in one side of the bracket, and Texas A&M and Oklahoma on the other side. Uh, big turnout for the SEC and soon to be SEC school being in Oklahoma. Tell us a little bit about your trip to Omaha Saturday, Brad. Those of you wondering, Brad was at the Arkansas Stanford game on Saturday. The Razorbacks blowout 17-2 win over the
Yes.
Cardinal, which was essentially batting practice. It's been nothing but batting practice games for Arkansas. Showing out against Stanford, then having batting practice done to them on Monday by Ole Miss, and then doing it again tonight against Auburn and keeping them just 3 hits. Man, is it McIntyre pitching tonight for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was lights out, and just
Yeah, I think he's
said it simple after the game. So what are you going to have to do to bounce back against Ole Miss, considering what happened to him Monday? He just said, stay ahead of them, and score runs. It was like simple.
yeah, it was
Uh,
crazy. What was his career best strikeouts was 5, and then he had 6 in a row.
he was
No,
excellent
it was
tonight,
pretty good.
lights out
Um,
performance. But tell us a little bit about your trip.
yeah, so we headed over there Friday night. So we had plenty of time to oversleep for the game on Saturday. Got up there. There's tons of people. It was pretty much a shit show. Lots of activities to do outside of the stadium. But the drama came whenever we got there. We bought our tickets through, I think, Vivid Seats, who purchased the tickets through Ticketmaster, and we didn't get our tickets. So, long
Awesome.
story short, after a couple hours on the phone, we got upgraded to pretty much the section right behind home plate. So it was a pretty serious upgrade, and yeah, I definitely got spoiled for my first College World Series, sitting, I don't know, I think we were 10 or 12 rows up on the left side of home plate. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And a 17-2 opening win. So
And
yeah,
what's even crazier is my cousin was at the game tonight. Of course, he was rooting for Auburn, and he was sitting in the same section as I was on Saturday. I thought that was pretty strange. So
yeah, I've got down here like what's impressed us and disappointed us about Arkansas. It's been a tale of two games. I mean, they were nothing but impressive Saturday and tonight, Tuesday night, and were very disappointing Monday. I mean, just pitching wasn't there. I mean,
you get
Ole
picked
Miss,
off at first. Everything was going right for Ole Miss. I mean, they were hitting it in the gaps,
it
stretching.
didn't matter who we had pitching until
No,
late in the game, till it was already well over. It didn't matter who Dave Horn brought out of the bullpen. Ole Miss just lit them up. But it's been, see, when Arkansas has been just careful with their pit, careful at the plate, been very good about watching balls, not chasing balls. When they've been patient at the plate, they've done well. But it's either worked out completely or it's not worked out at all. Now it's only been 3 games, of course, but that's how it's been. It's been no up and down. It's been all up and then all down and then all up again tonight. So hopefully they'll continue to trend upward, leading into the championship game if it gets to that point.
yep.
Yes, we're being total homers this episode, but we're not hiding it. So, woo pig. We're gonna see how it goes tomorrow, and we're either gonna be super stoked, this time next week, or we'll even probably do like a special if they, somehow pull it off and win the whole thing. We're yeah, but yeah, we'll touch back on a lot of it next week too. But
For sure.
it's been a fun College World Series, no doubt. But how does the SEC West stack up just in baseball, and what's it say about the conference moving forward with Texas and Oklahoma joining soon, and considering those two teams were in the College World Series this year as well? Oklahoma obviously still in it and haven't lost a game yet. It's a completely stacked league, man. And
it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, what, you have half of the 8, 4 of the 8 in the World Series that made it were from the West alone, and Texas is going to be a future West, so that's more than half. And then Oklahoma, of course, is going to be in the SEC. So yeah, that's 3/4 of them. So I'd say it's pretty dominant.
You would think they would all be in the West, right? I mean, Oklahoma's as west as any of them, but
Who
you got to
knows? They're
split some of
probably
those
going to
teams
put
up.
them. Yeah, if hopefully they'll do the quarters, the quarter conferences.
They're going to have to do something eventually, just continuing to add teams. But I mean, gosh, the SEC is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I did not realize A&M would be such a huge addition to the league.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at what they've done in football since joining. It was obviously a huge move by them, and Texas followed suit. They're like, okay, we want that kind of success too. So I can see why they're doing it finally. And plus, it'll be fun to play Texas regularly again. So, but, yeah, fun College World Series. That's all we can say about that. Well, there's plenty we could say, but
it was hot. It was very hot because we didn't get to sit in the shade either, so we got a little burnt, got a little crisp, but it was a good time.
It looked it, and it's been fun to watch too. So, all right, we will jump to the NBA.
Shooty
The
hoops.
yeah, season's over, but the Warriors did it. Warriors won it in 6. We called it here, and I know that last week we called it. We basically essentially acted like the series was done because it was. Well, it wasn't technically, but we basically acted like it was over uh, after Game 5, and it kind of proved to be the case. I mean, Celtics came out with a lot of energy early, and then when Golden State quickly jumped ahead, nearing the end of the first quarter, I think everybody all around had to be like, "Yeah, Celtics are in trouble," especially the Boston fans. But I had said last week that it felt like this was it. Like this was it for the Warriors. And it kind of felt that way a little bit, especially in game 3 when no, it felt like that in game 4 when it was basically all Steph, and Steph essentially saved the series by dropping 43 and just willing the Dubs to a victory. But I'm changing my tune this week. I'm essentially going to just 180 it. I think this is the start of another run. I think this is the start of another Warriors run. And I say that because they they have the smart, as I've said numerous times, they have the smartest front office. They have the best owner, probably, or one of the best owners, because they're owned by multiple people. But and that don't mind paying the luxury tax that they'll have to pay for. I mean, but they draft the best, they develop the best, they're well coached. It's elite level coaching. It all around. I mean, the up and coming talent. They're going to keep the band together. Uh, Steph, Draymond, and Clay. And that's the thing. They don't have to be those guys of old. They can rely on a lot of these young guys coming up. Jordan Poole, uh, Wiseman. We didn't even think about that. The number 2 overall pick, who didn't even play this year, is going to get healthy. And think of what he can do when he comes in and contributes. That'll be, Looney's not going to have to be relied on as much. Moses Moody's only going to get better. Kaminga, you can just go on and on. I mean, we know the roster, but I could see this being another run for the Warriors, like where they're back year after year over the next. I mean, it could last 4 to 6 years with these guys, with these young guys. I would think. The only thing that I see potentially putting a stop to it is everybody wanting to get paid because Steph, Clay, and Draymond already have max deals. Steph's got the super max, Draymond has a max, Clay has a max, and you hear it was, I didn't hear it directly, but I heard it being reported that after they won it, Jordan Poole's looking at Wiggins saying, "You know how much he's like, I think he said something like, we're about to get paid." And if you're those guys, you ought to be saying, I can understand you wanting to get wanting to get your money, but especially if you're Wiggins, you got to be thinking, I've already been in a terrible situation. I know what it's like to go. I mean, do you want to go chase a large contract and then play for a terrible to mediocre team, kind of like what Wiggins was doing? Or do you want to stay in a spot that's perfect for him, that's perfect for you, and still make a lot of money? It's not going to be some super max deal or he won't get a super max anywhere, but a max deal that some, bottom feeder team is going to offer. What would you do in that situation? Would you be like, I've already got my ring, I'm going to go get paid? Or like, hey, I got it pretty good here. I think I'm gonna stick around. I'm going with the latter because winning solves a lot of things. Winning
Yeah,
leads to endorsements and
unless you're getting paid like triple the amount, or double. I would stay. It would take a heck of a lot of money
it would take a large amount of money for me
after I'm already getting paid a heck of a lot of money.
to leave that situation. It's the perfect situation for him. If I'm him, I'm not worried too much about how many zeros are on the contract. If I'm Wiggins, I'm staying right where I'm at least while that group is still together. But I'm not going anywhere if I'm him. I'm not worried about it. But I think that would be the only thing that could stop this dynasty from continuing is everybody wanting to get theirs. Because you're already paying 3 guys max deals. You can't pay 2 others. You can't pay 1 other, you know. You just they're going to pay Wiggins and they're going to pay Poole. But if they're just wanting to get the largest deal, they're going to have to go elsewhere to get that. And you're not going to be as effective as of a player doing so.
Nope.
At least I could see like Jordan Poole maybe going somewhere else and emerging kind of like Harden did. Like we didn't realize Harden was the superstar he ended up being until he left Oklahoma City. You knew he was a really good player, like an all-star level player, but he had to leave to be like, wow, he's okay, he's that great. But he also didn't win anything. Like I could see Jordan Poole kind of being that, maybe not to the extent of Harden, but I could see him doing that. But what means more to you, winning or just going and being the star somewhere on a team that's not going to win a championship?
Yeah.
I would
Winning.
seriously, yeah, to talk with the front office and get something worked out. Get yourself taken care of course, but realize what you have, realize the situation you have, and stay put, essentially. But in other news, okay, well, I will say this. Where would you rank Steph among like all-time greats? Is he top 10? Is he top 15?
He's got to be top 15. I don't know about top 10, man. It's really tough, dude.
That's the thing. Who are you going to
It's
kick
pretty
out?
crowded already, man. Yeah,
Who are
they're
you going
pretty.
to take out of the top 15
Shit, I don't even know. You would think
or top 10, man? Yeah, it's see that's the
even
thing. Like
top 15, like it.
true. The only person, see, I never saw Oscar Robertson play. I just know his numbers. And
Yeah.
I know his numbers, and so I can't say it, but it's hard for me to say that Steph's not as good as that guy. It's Steph. I mean, just look at what he
He
does out
changed
there.
the game, man.
He did. So did Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
You know, you can't compare because it's different eras.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. Is he top 10? I don't know. He's the best shooter ever. He's a 4-time champion now and a Finals MVP. Yeah, I don't know if I can put him in the top 10, but it's kind of hard to say that he's in that range. It's a difficult question because who are you going to
Yeah.
take out? Who are you going to take out of there? You're not taking out Bird, LeBron, or Wilt, right? I mean, it's
No.
I don't know where you put him in there, but he's in the conversation now. Is the difference? He's not just a great shooter on a great team. He's now in that conversation. He's the best player on an all-time great team. So he's in the conversation. And like you said, changed the game. So fun discussion makes for fun discussion. But in other news, we're going to jump sports here. Big headline today. Not exactly shocking news. Gronk announcing his retirement from football. It's his second time retiring. But I think he played it perfectly. I mean, he got out of he was injured. He got out of a situation that wasn't fun anymore in New England.
Yeah.
And then came back for a couple of seasons and had a lot of fun in Tampa playing with Brady and showed out in the Super Bowl, catching 2 tutties. And yeah, just having a minus the injuries, which Gronk has dealt with, but especially, at this point in his career, it's been he didn't just come back to be a blocking tight end, as he said he was fine coming back to do. No, he came back and made plays. He was Gronk. But where do you rank Gronk amongst tight ends? I have him as the best tight end ever. I if I'm picking a all time great team, we did this on a
Mm,
earlier episode or earlier this year, where we are
yep.
just picking skill players.
Mm,
I can't put Gronk ahead of anybody or anybody ahead of Gronk
no.
because it's like trying to cover a polar bear out there, man. I mean, he's unguardable, and just the athleticism, the blocking ability, even it's Gronk could do anything, and out there
And
essentially,
he could do it with half his body in a brace.
yes, it's it was amazing. It was an amazing career. He went to obviously a fantastic situation, having nothing but Tom Brady throwing to him his entire career. But I've got him as the best ever at tight end. Where do you have him?
Oh, number one. I mean, yeah, I've got him up there. Whenever we had our discussion earlier in the season, I threw out Kelsey just because I knew you were going to go with Gronk. But you can't argue that Gronk's not the best. I mean,
Okay, that was going to be my question. Would you take Kelsey over Gronk, like
no,
to prime? I mean, now you would, just because
no.
Kelsey is
Prime,
he's younger,
prime
he's
versus
healthier.
prime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
prime
prime
versus
versus
prime.
prime. There's no effing way.
Yeah, you're going with Gronk. Although Kelsey's I mean, he's a Hall of
Kelsey's,
Famer.
yeah, Kelsey's, yeah, he's right up there. 2 or 3. Like he's good. But
I have him top 5. I don't know if I'd put him ahead of Tony
Tony
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, yeah,
I don't know if I'd put him ahead of Antonio Gates, but
not yet.
I'd have him.
If he keeps on this trajectory, yeah, I think he'll be 3.
Or Kellen Winslow Senior, or just Kellen Winslow. I don't, but I didn't see him play either. But I know his numbers and I've seen his highlights.
Mm-hmm.
But I would throw in Kelsey personally in the top 5 right now, even.
I don't know, dude. There's this pretty sweet tight end back in I think 98, 99 season. Never dropped a pass, man. I seen him in real life.
What happened to that guy?
I have no idea.
That's pretty wild.
I think he moved to guard.
Yeah, shout out Coach U hiring for that move. Yeah. Best hands on the team.
He got some good hands. You
let's
want to
move him
use
to
those to
guard.
block?
Oh, yeah, you got good hands, huh? Hope they can block.
You.
That's essentially what it felt like. But all right. Well, those are good times though. Good times.
Yep.
Yeah, and jumping sports. Yeah. Anyway, shout out all tight ends out there. Keep your head up, block, make plays when you get your opportunity. Even if they're not, even if you got to run first team. But jumping sports, jumping to golf, more your territory here. Brooks Koepka, he's the latest to leave the PGA Tour for the Live Golf Series. And isn't he didn't his brother go, and isn't Brooks the same guy that kind of mildly berated a reporter for bringing it up before the US Open?
Yeah, he was he was making the comments last week during the press. He's like, I don't know why you're bugging me about this. I'm tired of talking about it. Blah blah blah. I'm not going. And like the tweet I seen on the guy covering, he's like, yeah, he's definitely 100% going. So
Yeah, I didn't hear him say that he wasn't going, but I remember him saying that he was tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
And that it's taken away from the US Open. And it's like one the US Open's on a Thursday, and that was a Tuesday when the question was asked. And also your brother joined, so it's I imagine he ran it by you, saying, hey, what do you think about this? It was a reasonable question.
He's been in talks with the 54 or Live or whatever the hell you want to call them. He's been in talks with them for the last couple of months. I mean, they didn't just spring it on him in the last week or two, but he's been going for a while. He let the first initial group go and take all the heat, and now he's just going to jump in on the coattails.
Well, yeah, the PGA Tour has eyes the PGA Tour eyes a revamped slate versus this is clearly as a result of the Live Golf threat, if you want to call it that. In an article published on ESPN, in response to the Live Golf threat, this is a quote from the article. The PGA Tour hopes to introduce a revamped schedule that will include increased purses worth at least $20 million and at least 8 existing marquee events and 3 new events in a global golf series that will include no cuts, limited fields, and purses of at least $25 million, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. And this could be happening soon. The details are still being finalized and are subject to change, the sources said, but the overhaul of the PGA Tour schedule is expected to be approved for 2023 as Live Golf continues to pluck former major champions and other players from the tour's roster of members. So I don't know, is it safe to say that they're a threat at this point? And what do you think of this move by the tour in response?
I mean, the tour has had this move just been sitting in their back pocket. You know, they've been waiting to play this card. Competition always enhances the players. So competition's good. It's going to end up changing it for the better, I think, but I don't know. The course, because the PGA is not the same thing as the USGA, so those guys are still going to be able to play on those events. But the PGA up in the purse prizes and everything will hopefully, I don't know, rub some sand in the wound, saying that you still can't come back and compete for these majors with all the historical names on them. But maybe you left too early. Of course, when it's all probably said and done, they're probably going to get reinstated in the PGA and everything else, and maybe the Live Golf will be absorbed some way. Of course, who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
who knows?
We don't know.
It could be good. I mean,
this has never happened before. So we'll.
I think there's going to be more good than bad out of it, but yeah.
That's my next question. Is Live good for the sport of golf?
It will be good as far as increasing the pay to a golfer who already gets paid quite a bit if you're winning to play golf. But those guys make plenty of money off sponsors too. But sponsors usually get them, cover the traveling costs and expenses and, the equipment and clothing. They'll get them to the tournament, but as far as their livelihood, they usually have to win. So, but increasing the purse, increases last place, so they're not walking away with $3,500 for still 4 days of work, which if they put in practice rounds was 6 days of work. So it'd be good money for anybody else. But
here's how I know it's good, or here's why I think it's good for the sport. I'm talking about golf. How many times have we talked about golf on the podcast now? How many weeks in a row? Several at this point, right?
Like 3 in a row.
I'm genuinely intrigued by this. I don't
it's
golf.
Weird.
I'm not opposed to golf. I've just never gotten into it. I didn't grow up playing it or anything outside of putt-putt or the driving range. But the casual fan or even non-fan, here I am. Say what?
I would say non-fans, because I've had 3 people who are non-golfers come up to me and invite themselves to come play golf with me. They're like, "Yeah, I want to start playing golf." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, come on out."
Well, that's the thing. Like we're talking about golf, something that we wouldn't normally be thinking that much about. I would always tune in when Tiger was in it. That would be when I would really pay attention. But or something as silly as the match, with this most recent one, with Brady Rogers and Josh Allen and Patty Mahomes. But it's good for the sport because the casual fan and even the non-fans are talking about it. And the fact that they're talking about it, it's kind of almost an iron sharpens iron type of thing with the tour. Liv is forcing the tour to step their game up. I mean, you see with the revamped slate and purses move. That's what they're doing. It's forcing them to step their game up to keep a lot of these major players that they have. So I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport of golf as a whole. I know that some are going to have mixed feelings about it, just as far as with it, being run by the Saudis and all that, and the traditionalists that are on the tour currently, especially the all-time, the greats that are out there playing now and those before have played before. But it's good. I think it's good for the sport. It's got people like me talking about it, which I think as long as you're talking about it, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for almost whatever it is. If you're talking about it, you're thinking about it, and you're paying attention. So I could see it being good for the sport in that way. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You said what I was trying to say. It's so better.
Well, you gave a more detailed analysis of it, the kind of the behind the scenes stuff type of things I don't know about because I haven't paid attention to it enough.
Yeah, right now the big thing is with Liv is where is the money coming from? Like, tell us where the money's coming from, and we might be okay with it. But
they have it's an unlimited amount of funding.
Oh yeah,
coming from them.
Mm,
But it's that's above my head to an extent. But
yeah,
we'll either way, I think it's good for the sport because we're talking about it. But we
agreed.
we will end on this. I know with the College World Series is going on, of course, and of course other sports as well, Major League Baseball. But the NBA draft is Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's 7 o'clock Central for us. As it'll be, it's rounds 1 and 2, which is what the NBA draft is. But the Orlando Magic have the number 1 overall pick, and they are reportedly keeping their options open as far as what they're going to do with that pick. I'm, listening. Of course, that's what you should say. Listening to trade offers, all that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people seem to think Chet Holmgren is the guy to take.
Do you agree?
I would not. I would not take him number 1. I've seen him play. I saw him play in the first game of the season against Bancaro. I can't remember his first name, the Duke player.
Yeah.
But he outplayed him. He outplayed Holmgren. I wasn't overly impressed with him all year. Everybody's like the potential's there, and I'm like, yeah, well, I just don't see myself taking him over Bancaro or even the Auburn guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jabari Smith?
Sounds right.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe should have Googled that. But
first name's right.
Yeah, we were watching the Hogs dominate over Auburn tonight, speaking of. So I'm gonna look that up real quick. In the meantime, while I'm looking that up, the Celtics are reportedly in serious. Now, this was a couple of days ago, and I haven't heard anything about it since. But the Celtics are reportedly in serious talks about acquiring Bradley Beal. That would be quite the get if they could get that. Would you say that would bump them as the favorites in the East next season?
Wouldn't it have to?
I would think if you can acquire Bradley Beal, that would put them at the very top of the East for me. As is right now, I don't know that they can beat the Heat healthy. I don't know that they can beat
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't know about Philly. I think they could beat Philly, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be easy. But Brooklyn's going to come back better. You know,
What do you
it's
think about the Kyrie talks? If he's going to come back, if he's going to go elsewhere.
I don't know. I think that's a way to get clicks. You know, he doesn't
Yeah,
really know
probably.
what he's gonna do. So he could maybe go to the Lakers or the Knicks. You know that's gonna
Yeah.
get clicks. So you're gonna
Kyrie to the Warriors.
I don't know. The Warriors don't want that headache.
Mm-mm.
At least if I'm the Warriors, I'm good with what I have. I'm good with my system and
Yeah.
what we're doing.
You.
Jabari Smith. And of course,
Look
the
at that.
Bleacher Report puts out Jabari Smith to go number 1 to Magic in 2022 NBA draft, barring major surprise. That's who I would take if I'm Orlando. I'm keeping my options open if I'm them, but I don't see the Chet Holmgren thing being. I'm not taking him number 1 overall.
Man, who was the bust back in the day? Built similar. You know what I'm talking about.
He wasn't built similar, but
Or,
you're not talking about Greg Oden, are you?
no.
Okay.
No,
I
the
was gonna say
white
they weren't
boy.
built similar.
No, the white boy, and I want to say is from Gonzaga.
Adam Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't built the same. Adam Morrison was a small forward guard type player.
Maybe it's just a long. Well, didn't they both have long, shaggy hair? Maybe that's what I mean by built the same.
I don't even
I mean,
think
hell, dude, it's
Chet Holmgren doesn't even have long shaggy hair. They both went to Gonzaga. There's the comparison, and they're both white. So
I don't see color. Don't.
but that's the only
Apparently,
thing.
I don't
That's
see.
the only
Yeah,
comparison.
apparently, I don't see physical attributes either, man. I don't know.
or positions or
Yeah, I forget nothing, man.
but
I'm just.
they both went to Gonzaga and they both made it to like the Sweet 16. So I mean, okay, there's like 3
Practically the
comparisons.
same person, dude.
Pretty
Do
much the
you hear
same.
yourself?
There's pretty
It's
much
the
the
same
same
person.
player. Okay, you got
This
me
is where we
there.
pull up the side by side and show. Yep, they're the same
All right,
person.
nailed it.
Have you ever seen them both in the same play at the same time? No.
I haven't seen Adam Morse in a long time. I wonder what that guy's doing. That's the first time I've said that and ever.
Yeah.
But, but anyway.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I would
Excuse us,
say
it is a late night.
it is. I would say Jabari Smith would be my top pick. But yeah, I would think Bradley Beal, jumping back to that, I think that would put the Celtics in the top spot in the East. And it could challenge the Warriors. I mean, they gave them fits this year, and Tatum and them are only going to get better.
Yeah,
Tatum, Jaylen Brown, it's a young team. If they can keep them together. And yeah, Bradley Beal would be a huge get if they could somehow pull that off. Danny Ainge isn't there anymore, but I mean, I think Brad Stevens is a very I think he's very good. He can be very good in that role, you know, as the GM. So we'll see what happens. But that's going to do it for us, ladies and gents, this week. That's the conclusion of episode 35, Shoebooty Sports. Quick plug for Rhino Races. Ladies and gentlemen, visit rhinoraces.com. That's our sponsor, a virtual race series that offers 5 different races, a 5K, 10K, half marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. Rhinoraces.com. Check it out. Also find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, the Wisdom app. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoebooty Sports. We're going to get out of here. Till next time, this is Graham Powell.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Go Hogs.